Hello Nidorinas and Nidorinos, it is KingNido here and we are coming today from Heart Home City with our major semi-final, and it will be the Ghost type Spectres hosting the Dark type Spike Myth Swade Grunts, and the Swade Grunts are actually the last side to beat the Spectres before the Ghost types have gone on a 4-game winning streak, which they look to extend here today. So let us know in the comments below who you think will win. Will it be the Ghost types? Will it be the Dark types? Let's send it down.
3, 2, 1, go!
And speaking of winning streaks, the Swade Grunts have won their last 8 official matchups as they start out with Kingambit and Moon. It will be Gholdengo and Electrode starting out for the Heart Home Spectres, and immediately Electrode is going to take on that Terrestrial form as it has been doing all season as the Terrestrial draftee for the Heart Home Spectres, and it will have that speed advantage, being one of the quickest Pokemon in the PokeType League, as immediately it is going to go for the Gigaton Hammer, bringing it down onto Kingambit, which is not very effective. Kingambit is able to tank that move, and in response we get the Eerie Impulse from Moon, but that Good as Gold ability on Gholdengo allows it to be immune to that, as Gholdengo is going to respond with the Heal Pulse, and this may be a poor play because immediately this is going to get Kingambit back to full strength, who does, as a thank you, go for the Aqua Cutter on Electro, getting the critical hit as well. Massive damage being done there, but the Solar Blade is being set up in response by Electrode, so it is going to absorb that light on this turn, but this could allow Moon to capitalize as it goes with the Stun Spore. But yet again, that Good as Gold ability comes into play for Gholdengo, who is going to go with the Shelter, so immediately it is going to boost its defense here. Now, it is a very specially offensive Pokemon, but a boost is always good as Kingambit with the extreme speed will not work. It does not affect the Ghost type Electrode, so it will be able to finish off that Solar Blade. Looks like it is going to go for Kingambit with that move as well, but yet again, not very effective. Kingambit tanking yet another move, and Moon goes for the Wing Attack, and this time it is able to actually land a hit on Gholdengo, although it's not very effective, and Gholdengo is going to respond with the Volt Tackle, going for Kingambit. So the Heart Home Spectres do seem to be focusing in on Kingambit here, who does go with the Petal Blizzard, hitting everybody on the field. It's not very effective on Moon, but it gets the elimination of Electrode. It's also not very effective on Gholdengo, but the Terrestrial Pokemon has already been taken out of this matchup, and that is the start the Spike and Swade Grunts want, because they were able to dominate the Heart Home Spectres last time these two sides met, as out comes Drifblim for the Ghost type side, and immediately the Iron Tail from Moon is avoided by Drifblim, and this allows Gholdengo to go for the Burning Jealousy, hitting both Moon and Kingambit. Kingambit taking that super effective damage. Moon not very effective on, however, and the Sludge Wave follow-up from Drifblim. It doesn't affect Gholdengo, but it also doesn't affect Kingambit, so Moon is the only one that will be taking damage from this move, and it's left with that Poison status condition as well. That is fantastic for the Spectres, as that will chip away at Moon, and we get the Swords Dance now from Kingambit, boosting that already impressive 135 base attack. And there is Moon feeling the effects of that poisoning, as it is going to go with the Scald. Yet another very minimal damage being done to Gholdengo, who does look to respond with the Attract here, but it will not affect Kingambit. Drifblim, looking to do its part, is going to go for the Beat Up. Now, this will connect for every remaining Pokemon on the Heart Home Spectre, so it will connect 5 times, but it is doing such little damage to Moon. So much chip damage, though, in the process there after those 5 connections. And this will open the door for Kingambit to go with the Leer. It is going to lower the defense of Drifblim, but yet again, that Good as Gold ability does come into play for Gholdengo, as Moon is in knockout range now, thanks to that poisoning, as it is going to go with the Confuse Ray. And yet again, the Good as Gold ability comes into play for Gholdengo. That has been crucial so far in this match, and this allows Gholdengo to go for the Facade onto Kingambit. Kingambit's now in knockout range after that not very effective move, and Drifblim with the Tail Glow, instead of going for the easy elimination, Drifblim is going to boost its special attack a great deal here. And now we get the Liquidation from Kingambit onto Gholdengo. Fantastic hit on the Steel Ghost type, but Moon needs to hold on from this poisoning, and that it does. But it is so close to being eliminated, as it is going to go with the Thunder Fang. But Gholdengo is able to avoid that attack, and it could capitalize here and go for the elimination, but instead it goes for the Simple Beam on to Kingambit, so it loses that Supreme Overlord ability, which it really didn't matter at this point in this match, instead getting the simple ability. And now we get the Sacred Sword follow-up to eliminate Kingambit from this matchup with that super effective move. King Gambit has been taken out, and that levels the playing field with 5 Pokemon remaining, but immediately that poisoning on Rowan gets the elimination, and the Hardhome Spectres have taken the lead. They are not afraid of the Dark types, as out comes Luxray for the Sway Grunts, and it's going to be joined by Hydreigon. Luxray immediately with that Intimidate ability that will lower the attacks that of Gholdengo as well as Drifblim here, and it is going to take on that Dark typing Terrestrial form. And Luxray has had such a great season so far, and so has Hydreigon, and they're going to want to look to continue that, because whoever wins this best of 3 series will head straight into the Champions game as we get the victory dance from Hydreigon. That dance of victory is going to boost those physical stats as well as boosting that speed here of Hydreigon. It's already the quickest on the field, but it has boosted that 105 base attack, and it's already got the 125 base special attack, as that Levitate ability on Hydreigon allows it to avoid the Stomping Tantrum from Gholdengo. The Weather Ball, though, from Drifblim will not be avoided by the Pseudo Legendary. A really good hit there by Drifblim as well as Luxray now with the Fire Blast, and this is going to eliminate Gholdengo from this matchup with that super effective move, immediately leveling the playing field. As I get my words out, now comes Skeledirge onto the side of the Hardhome Spectres, as we have the Shadow Force now being set up by Hydreigon. It's going to vanish instantly. Drifblim needs to go for Luxray, goes for the Wild Charge, but it goes for Hydreigon, who is able to avoid that attack, and this allows Luxray to go with the Lumina Crash onto Skeledirge. Gets a good hit there, and it is going to lower that special defense of Skeledirge a great deal, who does look to respond with the Whirlpool. It is correct in going for Luxray. It doesn't do a great deal of damage, but Luxray has become trapped in that vortex, so it is going to be taking passive damage, as we see happening here on the field right now. But Hydreigon is going to finish off this Shadow Force, and it looks like it's going for Skeledirge, and Skeledirge is eliminated with that super effective move. And just like that, the Spikeman Sway Grunts have taken back the lead. Now we have the Psych Up from Drifblim. Looks like it's copying Luxray, but I think it should have copied those stat changes from Hydreigon. Luxray is going to go for the Morning Sun, so it is going to have its health restored here. It should get itself back to full strength, and that it does, as out comes Gengar for the Hardhome Spectres. And Hydreigon immediately meets it with the Stun Spore. This is going to slow Gengar down on the field, who has that base 110 speed, so now it's paralyzed. It has been slowed down. It may be unable to move, and now we get a Phantom Force being set up by Drifblim, so now it's going to vanish from the field instantly. Luxray with the Psybeam, very clever, capitalizing on that poison typing of Gengar. Super effective hit. Gengar looking to respond, goes with the Fire Spin, so now Luxray is going to be trapped in the Fiery Vortex instead of the Whirlpool. And they want that passive damage there on Luxray, as Hydreigon is going to go for the Noble Roar onto Gengar. This is going to lower Gengar's physical attack stat as well as its special attack, which is base 130, but Drifblim finishes off the Phantom Force onto Hydreigon. Not very effective. Hydreigon tanks that move, and this allows Luxray to respond with the Waterfall onto Gengar. Gengar is eliminated from this matchup. Its Cursed Body ability has been activated, which is going to cause Luxray to struggle, but the Spikeman Sway Grunts have taken full control of this match, as out comes Poltergeist, and Hydreigon now with the Take Heart. Instead of going on the offensive, it's going to boost those stats yet again, this time boosting that special attack and that special defense. Drifblim is going to go for the Night Slash. This is also going to do very little damage to Hydreigon. Yet again, not very effective, but Luxray here is going to struggle on the field, goes for Poltergeist, gets a great hit as well. Luxray does get some recoil damage, as Poltergeist is going to go for the Force Palm onto Hydreigon. Super effective, but Hydreigon's only been put in knockout range, and this allows it to respond with the Magnet Rise. I really don't think it needed to do that though, because even though that helps it levitate, it already has that levitate ability. And then we get the Vine Whip follow-up, not very effective onto Hydreigon yet again from Drifblim, as Luxray continues to struggle here and going for Poltergeist. It gets the critical hit as well. Poltergeist is in knockout range, as is Luxray due to its recoil damage. Poltergeist needs to get that elimination, but it goes for the wrong type of elimination because it goes with the Memento. It has eliminated itself from this match. It does cut into the attack and special attack of Luxray, but Drifblim is all by itself. Spikeman Sway Grunts could take this first matchup. Waterfall from Hydreigon, great damage there onto Drifblim. Drifblim is flinched. That was a crucial, but Luxray looking to capitalize. He's going to continue to struggle. Gets that hit on Drifblim, and that recoil damage is going to eliminate the Terrestrial Pokemon from this matchup. Drifblim has 3 Dark types to contend with, and one of them is Samurott, who comes out onto the field now, but Hydreigon with the Magnetic Flux, but nobody with that plus-minus ability on the field. And Samurott with the Howl now is going to boost that attack of itself, as well as boosting that attack yet again of Hydreigon. Drifloon needs to eliminate Hydreigon right now, going with the Shell Sidearm. Hydreigon is eliminated. There's fantastic Drifloon doing exactly what it needs to do. And we're about to find out who the last Pokemon for the Sway Grunts is. It is Mabostiff coming out onto the field. It has the speed advantage, though, goes for the Tail Slap, which will not affect Drifloon. This is great. The Ghost type is still in this Samurott, though, with the speed advantage over Drifloon. Goes for the Sludge Bomb. Drifloon is in knockout range. It does not get poisoned, and it goes with the Infernal Parade onto this angry looking Papa. Not very effective there, and Samurott in response is going to go for the Aura Sphere, which is just going to go straight through Drifloon. It doesn't have to worry about that being a Ghost type. Mabostiff, though, with the Charge Beam, that would have been super effective, but Drifloon's able to avoid that attack. It's doing everything it needs to, but it goes with the Psy Strike, which does not affect Mabostiff. The Dark types are immune to Psychic type attacks, and this allows Mabostiff to go for a Hyper Beam, which doesn't affect Drifloon. Samurott needs to connect with something. It goes for the Dragon Tail, and Drifloon avoids that attack as well, and this allows it to respond with the Fire Fang onto Mabostiff. Gets a good hit there, but Samurott is going to go with the flip turn, and Drifloon is eliminated, and the Spikeman Sway Grunts have extended their winning streak to 9 official games in a row, and they take game 1 in this best of 3 series. And now with the field reset, it is Typhlosion in its Hisuian form and Dragapult starting out for the Hard Home Spectres. It's Bombardier and Skuntank starting out for the Spikeman Sway Grunts, as Dragapult immediately with the Volt Tackle onto Skuntank. A massive hit there. And it's revealed that Skuntank is actually Zoroark in its illusion form. Looks like Dragapult could see straight through it as it does get some recoil damage here. And Zoroark responds with the Psy Beam onto Dragapult. Gets a good hit there, and Typhlosion is going to go for the Magical Leaf onto Bombardier. Not very effective on the part flying type there, as Bombardier is going to respond with the Roar of Time. But Typhlosion is able to avoid that attack, and this allows Dragapult to go with the Dragon Rush, coming down hard and eliminating Zoroark from this matchup. That is exactly the start that the Hard Home Spectres needed here in game 2, because they do not want to lose another game to the Swayed Grunts. They want to show that they can beat the Dark types, as Bombardier here with the Mist Ball on to Dragapult. Massive hit there. Dragapult is in knockout range, as out comes the real Skuntank now for the Spikeman Sway Grunts. And we get the double kick from Dragapult onto Bombardier, capitalizing on that Dark typing of Bombardier. But its flying typing prevents it from being super effective, and Typhlosion, looking to follow it up, goes with the cut onto Bombardier. It looks like they're trying to take down the flying type, as Skuntank with the Stomping Tantrum here, and Dragapult is eliminated from this matchup. Skuntank was the last draftee of the Sway Grunts, and it takes out the first draftee of the Hard Home Spectres, as Bombardier does boost its attack as well as boosting Skuntank's attack with that, as out comes Decidueye now for the Hard Home Spectres, and Typhlosion with the Healing Wish. What is it thinking? It's going to take itself out of this matchup, and it was at full strength. That is not what the Spectres need right now. Skuntank could capitalize. It goes for the Blue Flare, but Decidueye is gratefully able to avoid that attack, and Bombardier looks to follow it up with the Growl, so it is going to lower the attack stat of Decidueye here. And Decidueye does respond with the Poison Gas. This will not work on Skuntank. It's already part Poison type, so it is immune to that. But Bombardier is going to be left with that status condition that is going to chip away at its health in between turns, as we see it taking effect on the field right now. This is going to make Bombardier a much easier target, as out comes Skeledirge for the Hard Home Spectres. And Skuntank with the Psycho Boost going for Decidueye. He gets a good hit on the Grass Ghost type, but it is going to lower that special attack of Skuntank in the process. Bombardier looking to follow it up, goes with the Sand attack. It is going to lower that accuracy of Skeledirge here, and if it cannot land its hits, it cannot get eliminations, as Decidueye with the Iron Head onto Skuntank gets a good hit. And Skeledirge looking to follow up, goes for the Boom Burst, which is a great play because it doesn't affect Decidueye, its teammate, but Skuntank's able to avoid that attack. It does, however, eliminate Bombardier, which is great for the Spectres, leveling the playing field at 4 apiece. And now out comes Samurott for the Spikeman Sway Grunts, and immediately it is going to go for the Gunk Shot. It should have gone for Decidueye, but instead it goes for Skeledirge, so it's not very effective. And it is going to be followed up by the Fury attack from Skuntank, which will not work. It does not affect the Ghost types, and this allows Decidueye to try and capitalize, going with the Dragon Claw onto Samurott here. Does get a good hit, and now Skeleturge is looking to follow up. Goes for the Aqua Jet onto Skuntank. They are splitting their work between the two Pokemon. Samurott, though, sets up the safeguard on the field. They do not want any more status conditions as they become cloaked in that Mystical Veil. Skuntank with the knockoff. This is going to be super effective, and Skeleturge is eliminated. That was a massive hit there by Skuntank to put the Spike and Swag Grunts back in front, knocking off that Leopard Berry in the process. And now Decidueye with the Psycho boost of its own, but it doesn't affect Skuntank. That is not good, as now out comes Electrode yet again for the Heart Home Spectres. And it does not want to lose this matchup and have to go into the preliminary final. They want to go straight into the Champions game, so the Heart Home Spectres need to win this second matchup to extend it to a Game 3. Electrode with the Aura Sphere onto Skuntank. That poison typing preventing it from being super effective, and Samurott is going to look to respond with the Lunar Blessing. This is really clever because it is going to restore the health of not only itself but also its teammate Skuntank on the field. Great teamwork there by the Dark types as Skuntank looks to follow it up with the Brave Bird onto Decidueye, and Decidueye is eliminated with that super effective move. The Swag Grunts are taking full control. They are showing that they can absolutely dominate the Heart Home Spectres, and that is not what they need, as out comes Poltergeist now for the Heart Home Spectres. Electrode is going to go for the Weather Ball onto Samurott here. And that is a good hit there, but it needs to be followed up as Samurott is looking to respond though with the Fairy Lock, making it so no Pokemon can run away during the next turn. And I don't think the Spike and Swag Grunts are looking to go anywhere as they are in control. And the Fire Fang now onto Electrode from Skuntank. A great hit. Poltergeist is now going to go for the Gravity. That Gravity will intensify. Don't look for anybody to be successful in going for a Splash. And Electrode with the Poison Fang onto Samurott does not do much damage, and it's able to avoid being poisoned there as it responds with the Grass Pledge onto Poltergeist, and Skuntank follows it up with the Shadow Claw onto Electrode. Electrode is eliminated with that super effective move. Poltergeist is all by itself. This is not good for the Heart Home Spectres. The Spike and Spike Grunts look so ready to get themselves into the Champions game. That quick attack onto Skuntank does not do much damage, and Samurott is going to respond with the Power Gem onto Poltergeist. He gets a good hit there, chipping away at the lone Ghost type. The Tachyon Cutter, this will not miss, but it is not going to do much damage with these two hits. The second one, though, is a critical hit. Poltergeist is in knockout range. It needs to get some quick eliminations, and it goes with the wrong one again. The Misty Explosion. And it does eliminate Skuntank and Samurott from this matchup, but Poltergeist has eliminated itself, which means the Spike and the Swag Grunts remain undefeated for their last 10 games, and they remain undefeated against the Heart Home Spectres. They are going into our Champions game. We know one half of our Champions game on Pokemon Day now, but that does mean the Ghost types, the Heart Home Spectres, will be facing the victor of the Fuchsia Royal Gators versus the Olivine Carbons next week in our preliminary final. But before that, we do have our exhibition game 3 here taking place. And with this exhibition game, the Heart Home Spectres need to prove to themselves that they can defeat the Spike and Swag Grunts. The Swag Grunts have clearly rattled the Spectres, and it will be Decidueye and Goldengo starting out for the Ghost type side. And immediately the Bite from Goldengo is not very effective on Skuntank. They're very minimal damage, and Skuntank is going to look to respond with the Stone Axe. Also not very effective, but this will set up those stones, those pointed stones are floating in the air on the side of the Heart Home Spectres, and it's followed up with the Power Split as well from Bombardier, but that good as gold ability on Goldengo prevents it from working. And now the Terra Blast from Decidueye onto Bombardier does get a good hit there, and Goldengo is going to go with the Fusion Flare follow-up. And that is some great damage on Bombardier, immediately putting it in knockout range, and the Crab Hammer in response from Skuntank, but Decidueye is able to avoid that attack. Bombardier, though, looking to do its part, goes with the Barb Barrage, gets a good hit on Decidueye, capitalizing on its part Grass Typing, but it also leaves it poisoned. Decidueye is going to be feeling the effects of that, but at first it will go with the Venoshock. It's a poison type move of its own, eliminating Bombardier from this matchup, and yet again the Heart Home Spectres get the early elimination. They need to continue this offensive pressure. And there is Decidueye being hurt by its poisoning as out comes remove for the Spike and Swag Grunts, and immediately it's going to go with the Hydro Steam onto Decidueye. Not very effective there on the Ghost Grass type. Skuntank though looks to follow it up with the Hydro Pump. They're going for the Water type moves on the Grass type Pokemon, chipping away at Decidueye. They're going to let that Poisoning do its work, as well as the Tri-Attack from Goldengo onto Roymoon. A fantastic connection, and Roymoon is revealed to be Zoroark in its illusion here. Decidueye could follow it up as it goes with the Synthesis. It is going to restore some much needed health, and I cannot believe how the Spectres get absolutely dominated by the Suede Grunts. If the Spectres can make it into the Champions game, they will need to look to find themselves, as that Dragon Claw gets a great hit onto Decidueye from Zoroark, and the Happy Hour from Skuntank is so fitting. It should be happy because they are in the Champions game. They have locked up their spot, as Goldengo with the Spore is going to put Zoroark to sleep on the field here. And I have to wonder, will the Spectres be going up against the Future World Gators, who they've defeated, or the Olivine Cubbins, who have actually one of the three sides that defeated the Spectres this season? Zoroark feeling the effects of that lick, as the Decidueye continues to feel the effects of that poisoning. And Zoroark is fast asleep on the field. This allows Goldengo to go and set up the substitute here, so it is going to cut into its own health, which is a great play here by Goldengo, because it is resistant of so many moves. But that Darkest Lariat onto Decidueye, super effective hit there by Skuntank, takes out the Alolan Pokemon here, and in its place comes Typhlosion yet again in its Hisuian form, and it does have those pointed stones digging into it, and it has that Frisk ability, but as we know, every Pokemon in the PokeType League does hold on to a Leopard Berry. As Zoroark continues to snooze away on the field, I don't think the Spikeman Sweatgrunts are taking this exhibition game as seriously as maybe the Hearthome Spectres are, as the Grass Knot will eliminate Zoroark from this matchup. A good connection there by Typhlosion, and Skuntank now with the Revelation Dance going for Typhlosion, and it's not very effective because it's its poison typing that it becomes of that Revelation Dance, not its dark typing. And this allows the Wood Hammer from Skuntank to be from Goldengo to be not very effective there on Skuntank, and Goldengo does get a little bit of recoil damage there, as out comes the real Roaring Moon for the Spikemas Grunts, and Roaring Moon, the real Roaring Moon with the Icicle Crash, but Typhlosion is able to avoid that attack, those icicles practically melting away before it can connect, and we get the workup from Typhlosion, boosting that physical attack, boosting that special attack, and Typhlosion does have 119 base special attack, as we get the Mud Shot from Goldengo, going for Roaring Moon here. And it doesn't get a great deal of damage, but it will slow down Roaring Moon, as Skuntank is going to go with the Thunder Wave. And speaking of slowing down Pokemon, Typhlosion is going to be left paralyzed, so this will slow it down and potentially make it unable to move, which the Swag Grunts can capitalize on, because Skuntank is immediately going to follow it up with the Charge Beam onto that Substitute, trying to get Goldengo back onto the field, as the Substitute does take the damage, and Skuntank gets the special attack boost, as the charge now from Goldengo, trying to make any electric type attacks that it does become stronger as it begins charging that power, and it does boost its special defense in the process, as we have Roaring Moon going with the payback here onto Typhlosion. That super effective hit takes Typhlosion out of this match, immediately leveling the playing field, and out comes Drifblim for the Hearthome Spectres, and now it has those pointed stones digging into it, as the Leech Life now is going to be performed on Roaring Moon. A great super effective hit there by Goldengo, and it is restoring its health whilst it's in this substitute. That is fantastically played by Goldengo. They need to get that substitute off the field. The Poison Gas here from Skuntank will not affect Goldengo with that Good as Gold ability. It's also part Steel type, so it never has to worry about it anyway. But Drifblim will be feeling the effects of that poisoning. And Drifblim is taking the time, that tea time, so that everyone can eat their Leopard Berries except for Goldengo. Yet again, that Good as Gold ability does come into play, but whilst everyone's staring down on their Leopard Berries, if you're enjoying what you're seeing, please like, share, subscribe, help the PokeType League grow for many seasons to come, as we get closer to our first ever Champions game on Pokemon Day. Roaring Moon, after chowing down on its Leopard Berry, goes for the Mega Drain, trying to get back some of its health, which is not very effective there, as that substitute continues to take the damage for Goldengo here. But Roaring Moon is able to restore a tiny bit of health, as Drifblim losing a bit of health due to its poisoning here. And now we're going to get the foul play from Goldengo onto Roaring Moon, putting it in knockout range. It's not very effective though, but Roaring Moon is an easy target, as Skuntank is going to go with the Hurricane onto that substitute yet again. They desperately need to get that substitute off this field. And finally, it is going to fade, which means Goldengo is able to take damage. Now, Drifblim is going to go for the Whirlwind. It is going to send Skuntank back to the bench, and out in its place will be Mabostiff coming out onto the field. And Roaring Moon is going to go for the Flame Wheel. This will be super effective on Goldango. A fantastic hit there as Drifblim continues to feel the effects of that poisoning. And Mabostiff, going for its first move of the matchup, is going to go for the Bug Buzz onto Goldango. Goldango is able to tank that not very effective move, and it is going to respond with the skill swap, which means it's going to give its good as gold ability to Mabostiff, that Guard Dog ability coming over to Goldango, which could actually benefit either Pokemon depending on how this plays out. But at the moment we get the entrainment from Drifblim, but it will not work on Mabostiff because of the good as gold ability. And now the Psychic from Roaring Moon onto Drifblim, a great hit there. And there is that poisoning still taking effect, putting Drifblim into knockout range. It may only have one turn left, as we're going to get the Fairy Wind from Mabostiff, not very effective yet again on Goldango, and this allows Goldango to respond by going with the Dragon Dance. It is going to boost its attack here on the field, as well as boosting that speed. We'll see if it can move quicker than Mabostiff, but first Drifblim is going to go with the Double Team, and it's great that it's boosting its evasiveness, but it will not pay off because that poisoning will surely eliminate it at the end of this turn if Roaring Moon doesn't do it first, but instead goes for the Uproar, which will not affect Goldango. It is immune to the Uproar, and Drifblim needs to hold on, but it is eliminated, and the Suede Grunts have just taken the lead for the first time in this matchup, as out comes Gengar for the Spectres, and now it's going to feel the effects of those pointed stones, as Goldango is going to go with the entrainment, which means it is going to change that photosynthesis ability of Roaring Moon to Guard Dog, and I think Roaring Moon would be very happy with that, as Gengar goes for the Brutal Swing, which takes out Goldango. It is super effective on its teammate. It's not very effective on the Suede Grunts. The Heart Home Spectres seem almost afraid of the Suede Grunts, as the Flare Blitz from Mabostiff onto Gengar. Gengar holds on by a thread. There is recoil damage for Mabostiff, and it is going to be followed up by Roaring Moon going for the Force Palm, but that Palm will phase straight through Gengar, and now out comes Dragapult for the Heart Home Spectres. It has those pointed stones digging into it. Two Cursed Body Pokemon on the field right now, and the Shadow Claw onto Mabostiff. Not very effective, but it is a good hit there from the Pseudo Legendary. Gengar is going to follow it up with the Thunder Wave onto Roaring Moon. You've got to think surely they should have gone for the easy elimination of Roaring Moon there instead of setting that status condition. The Heart Home Spectres never make this many mistakes unless they're facing a side like the Suede Grunts. What is going on is the shift gear from Mabostiff is going to boost its speed a great deal, as well as boosting that attack stat. I wonder if it will be quicker than Dragapult now, but the Dragon Tail from Roaring Moon, Dragapult avoids what would have been a super effective attack, and Mabostiff is quicker. It goes for the Minimize, so it's going to boost its evasiveness. Let's hope it is not on the receiving end of a Slam. And Dragapult going with the Struggle Bug. Mabostiff will avoid that attack, but unfortunately for Roaring Moon, it is super effective, and Roaring Moon has been eliminated from this matchup. Skuntank will be coming back out on the field shortly, but that Drain Punch, which would have been super effective, is avoided by Mabostiff, and here is Skuntank returning to the field. Mabostiff now with the Spark onto Gengar gets the easy elimination. Dragapult is all by itself in this exhibition game, and it has 3 Dark types to contend with. It goes for the Dynamic Punch, but Skuntank's the one who's able to avoid that attack, and this allows Skuntank to go with the Poison Sting onto Dragapult. It is not very effective, very little damage. Mabostiff is going to look to follow it up with the Swagger. They're going to boost that 120 base attack of Dragapult, but they are going to leave it confused. They want to see Dragapult do damage to themselves. This is the Suede Grunts toying with their opponents. We've seen them do this multiple times this season. Dragapult is able to shake it off though, goes with the Power Split, but that good as gold ability on Mabostiff prevents anything from happening, and Skuntank looks to capitalize, going with the Fissure, but Dragapult able to avoid that move. Mabostiff though, looking to do its part, goes for the Scorching Sands. This is going to connect, gets a good hit there onto the Dragon Ghost type, and Dragapult is still in a confused state. And yet again, it is able to shake it off, going for the low kick, and it's going to connect on Mabostiff, getting that elimination as well. That super effective hit. The Spectres need this victory. They need this confidence boost. The Rock Slide, though, onto Dragapult. A good hit there from Skuntank there. And now out comes the Luxray for the Spikemas Suede Grunts, immediately lowering that attack stat of Dragapult with that Intimidate ability. And here it is, taking on that Terrestrial form. Luxray was not needed a great deal in these matches, as it is going to come out as the last Pokemon in this exhibition matchup. And to see Dragapult and Luxray going head to head, that is a collision I like to see. Dragapult though back to being the quickest on the field. It is still in a confused state and it is going to damage itself in its confusion. You must be wondering how Luxray has just become a dark type Pokemon. As we get our time warning, that slam from Skuntank is not going to affect Dragapult, but Luxray going for its first move of the matchup, its only move of the matchup, it goes with the Earthquake. It takes out Dragapult. It is super effective on Skuntank, but Skuntank holds on. And the Spikeless Swag Grunts yet again defeat the Spectres even in this exhibition game. And just like that, the Swag Grunts have got the Spectres number as they will move on to the Champions game. The Spectres do move on to the preliminary final and they need to win that to get their spot in the Champions game. But until then, Nidorinas and Nidorinos, thank you so much for watching. Let us know in the comments below who you thought was the best on field. And if you enjoyed what you saw, please leave a like, share, subscribe. But more importantly, always remember, you are awesome and I'll see you when you see me.